What's up everybody, Trinity here, and welcome back to the Second Street Marvel. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing Bad Reception issue number 2. Now before I get into that, please make sure you're subscribed, click the little bell and all of that good stuff that YouTube tells me to tell you to do. And sometimes, you know what, admittedly, we all need a reminder. So, Bad Reception issue number 2. The artist, the colorist, the letterer, this is a one-man crew right here. This is all done by Juan. Now, apparently, he's done quite a bit of work over there for all the people over at Aftershock Comics, and I've checked out a few of their books, and so far, I've liked what I've read out of them. So, Bad Reception issue number 1, I did a review on that not too long ago. I'll leave a link to that right up here where you can go and check that out. But basically what we learned in issue number 1 was we have Blaze Bordeaux Davis, who is a pretty famous writer out there. He's got a pretty big following, and his wife is a pop star and actress. Her name is Gaia. And she has like a really huge following on social media and things like that. Just they've got high profile lives, and kind of how would you say, reputations to go along with that, and just all the different things that come along with living that kind of lifestyle, I guess you could say. So what they were doing in issue number 1 was they were planning on they were getting ready to get married. They were planning their wedding and everything, getting all their friends on board to come on, because they were doing something very unique for their wedding called an off-the-grid wedding, where they were basically going to go to a remote location, and there's going to be basically no technology allowed there. They're taking everybody's cell phones, putting them in a nice little safe for, I think, basically like 24 hours for the whole day that they are there at this wedding reception. And in issue number 1, we kind of learn about that. Blaze Bordeaux Davis, he's a writer, and one of the books he was writing was called I can't remember, Off the Grid something. Like I said, go back and watch that video. And but it was basically just kind of how we all kind of rely on technology so much these days. And he was talking about a condition called nomophobia, which is basically the fear of going without your cell phone, which is something kind of funny, and they touch a lot about throughout the series, I would imagine. So in issue number 2, we see after they have basically gathered all of their friends to invite them to this wedding, even Gaia actually had to go to a prison to invite her father, who is about to be released from prison as well. And this issue number 2 opens up with basically a whole narration after the wedding had taken place, where Gaia's father is there giving a big speech about his daughter and how proud he is that she's there getting married, and how he's honored to actually be there at her wedding, because they had a pretty rocky past, as he used to be her manager and stole a lot of money from her and just things like that. She had to testify against him in court, and he was just happy to be there at the wedding, and he's kind of letting that be known. And he's also telling everybody, like, hey, I'm thankful to be here, and I hope she's willing to forgive me, and that feels great. She's just like her mother. Hopefully you all can forgive her and her new husband for taking away your cell phones. It's just kind of a big joke. And so basically there, after he gives his little during the reception, after he gives his little speech, we see Blaze and Gaia go and kind of address everybody, like, hey, thanking everybody for coming out to the wedding. Glad they're all there. They're all just close friends. There's not a whole lot of them. And just enjoy the festivities and enjoy the next 24 hours while they're there in this secluded area all together without any technology, being able to really connect with one another. And then we see the reception pretty much gets underway, and the first thing we get to is Gaia's manager Liz, who is at the bar hanging out along with her father, Gaia's father, who is Tommy. And they kind of we can see that these two have a history, as Liz has been friends with Gaia for a very long time, and it's her social media manager and everything like that. So she's trying to she's trying to increase like her social media influence, I guess you could say. And so we see the, her father and her best friend sitting there having some words, and we can tell they don't get along too well. They don't really like each other that much. And it seems like they both kind of have some ulterior motives here. And they both kind of pick at each other about it. And then we see, everybody kind of there enjoying the reception. And we see, Gaia's father sneaks off. And, they're like, okay, hey, the cook there who is cooking this cooking up pork. They're over an open fire outside. Says, hey, the food's about to be ready in just a minute. So everybody goes and gathers outside around the campfire, and they just kind of start telling stories, and just talking to each other, just really connecting as their food is set and they're finishing up. And they all kind of get together and start, they're having a good time. They're having a party. They start smoking a doobie and everything like that. And meanwhile, her manager, Gaia's manager, there you go. There's some of the art in this book. Gaia's manager, Liz, had snuck away to, I believe, make some calls, because she actually took a second cell phone with her to get some pics and things like that, so she can help grow her influence. Well, while she's there, during the reception, Gaia had noticed that the photographer was still sitting there taking photos, and she's like, hey, there's supposed to be no photos during the reception. Just go back and develop these photos. So we see that he is there in the in the dark room, developing photos. When we see, this is a horror story, all of a sudden we see somebody come and attack him while he is there developing these photos. And then so what ends up happening is Liz, Gaia's manager, sees the doors open. She's like, what's the dark room doing with the door open? Because if you know anything about developing film, that's not something you would do, is have the door open so you're getting all that light in there. So she's like, what the heck? So she grabs the cell phone out that she has with her. She's like, hey, I'm not missing this for whatever is behind this door. So she opens the door and finds a pretty horrendous scene as the photographer is there and has been murdered. And we've now got our first murder of this story. And as she's sitting there, getting ready to take a picture, Gaia's father, Tommy, actually walks up and is like, hey, what are you doing? Oh, you got a cell phone? And then they realize, he's like, oh, crap, so he pulls out a camera too. He pulls out a camera too because he was trying to get some pictures there to sell and things like that. Like Tommy's not a very good guy as well. So they're sitting there and they get these pictures and like, oh man, like we need to warn everybody, like there's been a murder here. So we see that they decide, they kind of make a little pact together. Liz and Tommy do, like, hey, you don't tell, I won't tell, right? Like we need to just go out there and tell them. And so we can see that everybody is still enjoying themselves, enjoying dinner by the campfire, when all of a sudden Tommy and Liz go out there and tell everybody that there has been a murder. And that's pretty much where issue number 2 leaves off. Altogether, guys, I've got to say, I really do enjoy this series. I think it's something, if you're into like a good horror, murder, mystery, this is something that you guys might like as well. And plus, it's got some of the, just the little undertones, or I guess overtones, about us being so dependent on technology and our cell phones and things like that. It's very good, and we can see that there's actually one of the guy, Mauricio, who's supposed to be showing up within, I think, the next handful of hours to take everybody off of the island. And they're all kind of flipping out like, hey man, like we need to get out of here. There is something going on here. There's a murderer here in our midst. And like I said, I really like this series, and like I said, it's all done by the same guy. And you can see, look, this is a pretty nice, nicely drawn book. The letters are done pretty good in it. You can see the colors in it are really nice as well. This guy Juan, who's doing this book right here, he's doing a pretty good job here. I've got to tell you, I really like that. I liked issue number 1. Issue number 2 here has me sitting in anticipation of issue number 3. But let me know down in the comments below. Have you read Bad Reception? If not, does it sound like something that might pique your interests? Let me know down in the comments below. That's all I have for this video today, folks. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the Second Street Marvel. Now, if you haven't already, please make sure you're subscribed and click that little bell so you get notifications anytime I've uploaded new content or anytime I'm doing a live video. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you don't, give it a thumbs down. It's all good. But while you're at it, make sure that you share it with a friend and invite them to come hang out with us here on the Second Street Marvel. You all have a very good day. Happy reading. Get out and support your local comic book shop, and we'll see you in the next video. Later.